Collective, hello, hello, my loves. Welcome to Vivid Vibration. My name is Christina. I hope that y'all are doing well. We got Tell a New Story. We've gotten this card before. Um, Maleficent, Wicked. Yeah, like all of these, all of the retellings, the recantations of the stories. Who is the true villain? Who has the whip? Yeah. Well, I mean, if you want to talk about Christ, like if you want to think about the idea of the Romans, or who was the guy? Was it emperor? He was an emperor. I can't remember his name. But he was like, I wash my hands of this, and hand them to you. You do with them what you will. But like he couldn't wash his hands of that. Like it was something that like was symbolic but not sincere. Or like the people who were throwing stones while like Christ carries the cross down the, it's like a Passion. That's such a depressing movie. I don't know. I watched it like maybe once and maybe twice. I never watched it again. But just the idea of like the people who persecuted Christ, and like you think about the power of Christ, and like the way that people would be like, like if you're so powerful, then do this. If you're so, and but he's not there to like like exhibit strength in the face of abuse. That wasn't his purpose. You know what I mean? He was kind of the like turn the other cheek. Like I will let you, like cast your stones and like whip your whips. And every time you do that, like you strengthen my story. Instead of being the victim, you now have become somebody who is so, like, you've sat on this power. You let them belittle you, berate you, whip you, stone you. You know what I mean? Like, do all of these things to you, because with everything that they did, they made you like they strengthened your story. Like you didn't come to, well, I think if you like, if there's an idea of justice, right? In order to bring justice, you need to understand injustice. In order to heal, like the deepest of the wounds, you must carry the deepest of the wounds. Like that is your power. That is your strength. And it isn't in bowing down or being surface level. And I think that the evil of these people, there's now this sense of themselves, of them trying to protect themselves. Like they're trying to instead of casting magic against you, they're trying to cast magic around themselves, as a sense of protection. But the thing is that if you're dealing with somebody who's divinely protected, you're not you're not protecting yourself from that person. You're protecting yourself from the spirits that protect them. And if you don't know the names of the spirits that you are protecting yourself from, your protection spells aren't going to work. PSA. And that doesn't have anything to do with the person, because the person isn't the one who's casting the magic. The person isn't the one who's carrying out the sentence. You ain't dealing with me, and you ain't know who you dealing with. But I will never tell you. You'll never get it from me. Yeah. Yeah. Because you don't know from whence they came. You don't know. And your muscle tests aren't going to tell you. And the spirits that surround you are spirits of confusion and spirits of chaos and spirits of lies and manipulation. And every time you lie, every time, and your lies, yeah, omissions are lies. But like every time you do that, you call those spirits in, and so those spirits will confuse everything that you do, and I just feel like saying, I don't have to protect myself from you. You have done the job of causing so much chaos and confusion, that like any attempt that you make will be spiritually contained through not only the ones who protect, but also, the ones who keep you, because your actions, like bind you to them. It sucks, doesn't it? But again, like it doesn't have anything to do with anybody but you. The magician. Yeah. Well, because I think that if people would spend half the amount of time or exertion and energy, in trying to protect themselves as they would into like having a good character, like they wouldn't need to protect themselves. But if your character, is so poor, like your protection won't work. Like there's just this, like there's not an equal exchange. So, like it's almost like you're paying into, your own demise. And that just seems like a common courtesy kind of statement, right? Like, you should probably know that. The card that comes after the Fool, the Magician, is number one. The action that takes shape, the direction of energy. It represents potentiality, the ability to do things with what one has, to invent, to imagine, to make things real. She operates sometimes not overtly, as is suggested by the veil framing the figure's face in the card. Her energy belongs to those who go straight for the goal, using the resources and means available. The magician has access to the four suits of the minor arcana, which she can use at her will. All four are present in this card. She knows the equilibria and knows how to get what she wants, and sometimes she can deceive. Her plant is the pumpkin, which opens its flower in the early morning hours. It has fairy tale associations with possibility and illusion. The early hours of the morning are when we plan our day, knowing that anything is possible. Yeah, and if you think that you're going to undo confusion while creating confusion, if you, or even like have some outside party do that, they've 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 courted themselves to your limitations, and the realms, that are at play. Uh, you can try. I mean, sure, definitely give it a whirl. Um, I think that you're going to find that you regret it. Nine of Swords. Who has not experienced the feeling of a terrible nightmare that vanishes at first light when we wake up? The Nine of Swords is a card of unpleasant thoughts, of obsessions, of not being able to sleep because we only think about that one thing. It is about overthinking, letting anxiety overwhelm us. If the problem that grips us has become a fixation for us, if we can't think of anything else, this card will probably manifest. In that case, take care of yourself, learn meditation or other disciplines to calm the mind, and try to look at things from the bright side as well. Sometimes it seems that darkness pervades everything, but wherever the night is darkest, the light will soon shine brightly. Yeah, I do. I feel like you're going to make it worse for yourself. The more you try to fight it, the more you act like in poor character, and then attempt to protect yourself in a spiritual realm where you have already called in chaos, called in confusion, like you like you have created a hell around yourself, and nobody did that to you but you. So whoever it is that you think you're protecting yourself from, um, I really just feel like saying, well, yeah, it is. It is. It's like that instant gratification of, it's like the McDonald's of the spiritual world, where people think that they can can connive, can manipulate, can omit, can like take take part of these devious plans, and then out of fear, like they're going to protect themselves. But it's like, no, you've already linked yourself to chaos and confusion. You've already called in the demons of chaos and confusion. Like they are already connected to you. Any magic that you use will now be manipulated through their confusion. You're streaming it in through your own demons. And then you try and clear it out with but like there are contractual obligations that are already, you are only but human working with things that have their own divine orchestrated intentions and purposes. And thinking that you can just go through the drive-through and like order something, but like, yeah, in your fear, you're making it worse. You can't just go through the drive-through and order it and order protection when you've already bonded with chaos and confusion. In communication and quickness, no one can beat the Page of Swords. She is quick-witted, intelligent, and sharp. This page represents a person who can grasp hidden messages and be a spokesperson. She is intuitive, keenly alert, and able to make connections and have lucid visions of what she wants. Eager for knowledge, she is beginning to study a new subject, or perhaps is working on an innovative project, an invention no one had thought of before. This card can also be interpreted as a claydon, I don't know, I need to figure out what that is, which is a random message you come across that represents an answer to your question. Perhaps turning on the radio and hearing a song that responds to just what you're asking. Pay attention to subtle messages. Well, yeah, and I don't know. I mean, if it's fine. Like it is. I am not here to dictate the process of understanding. Like honestly, I feel like I'm happy to share that kind of information because if you do want to change your intentions, which nobody has demonstrated as of yet, like it would be helpful for you to know, because I am not the enemy of all, only the enemy of a select few. Well, I guess it's a larger group than what it initially started out as. But I feel like there are some on the outskirts of that who are teetering with that. And I guess I like, I think they're already knee deep in their corded, they're wrapped. They are wrapped. They are wrapped in chaos. They are wrapped. But like, I didn't do that. So you can try and protect yourself from me, but it's not going to work because I didn't do that to you. I don't cast magic against people. I feel like I've said that before. I'll say it again. I don't cast magic against people. It's not my place. It's not my role. It's not my calling. Do I have guides and spirits and ancestors who act on my behalf? Absolutely. Do I have the right to petition them to do that? 100%. Like, do they carry that out immediately? No. I just think that idea of like they're clever. They are and they will operate in ways that like you won't anticipate. So like, but don't operate from poor character. Don't operate, I mean, especially if you're dealing with somebody who already knows, who is so well protected that everything that you do is revealed when it is done. that that you think that you can secretly operate. You've already, like, in your omissions, in your secret operations, you've already bound yourself to chaos and confusion. You've already bound yourself to illusion. So, I mean, like, you're welcome, I guess, because I don't have to tell you, but like, also, I mean, I don't know. I'd like the story will unfold, and if there are things that people need to know, then it's probably for a reason. And honestly, all of this is just documentation for me. So, like, Spirit provides. The Four of Wands is here to remind us that we are not just our work, our passion, our projects. Whatever endeavor we are pursuing, whether artistic, professional, or relational, we need to be able to take time to celebrate and party. If we have come this far, we have come a long way. Do you ever take time to stop and celebrate your successes? Remember, it is important for your well being. This card may appear as a sign that it's time to let go for a moment. You can't always be thinking about your responsibilities, which are important, of course, but can wait until tomorrow. Now, celebrate yourself. That feels like a different energy than that energy. Well, because I feel like this energy is like one energy. This energy is another energy. And I feel like this energy is like in a state of like utter fear and panic. And it's like, well, like you can attempt to use magic, but when you use magic, you bind yourself even more and you make it really, honestly, you make it worse. And then you call in things that you don't even realize you're calling in. And then it lasts even longer than you had anticipated. And I feel like the spiral of like, stop trying to instant gratification your way through with magic. Just like, do yourself a favor, stop. Five of Wands. Here we find a small conflict. The simplest one we will encounter in the minor arcana. The argument taking place is an ego-driven quarrel. It is one of those that seems to be very important in the moment, but then with time will seem quite insignificant. So the question to ask yourself is, are you really fighting for your values, for what you believe in, or is this just an ego-related issue? Try to distance yourself, observe from a neutral position, and elevate. In these cases, the solution is to try joining forces rather than trying to prevail. Sometimes the battles we are fighting are not our own. We have been dragged into them. Is this perhaps the case? Always ask yourself whether it is worth using your energy and your power in this way. And again, for like those people who are like trying to like, well, yeah, I mean, I like the sickos, like that was their whole motive, was that they were like, we're going to use more people, we're going to use more magic, we're going to do all of these things because we're, like, but like what they did was they called in more chaos, they called in more confusion, and then they attempted to do all of these things, but what they did was work with magic of illusion that ultimately like created that around themselves. I have never had to do a fucking thing. These people have done it all to themselves, and they drag other people into their chaos and into their illusion and into their confusion and into their pack of demons. And I'm sorry, I don't give a flying fuck if you think that working with Christ is going to save you. It won't. There are so many spirits. There are so many entities, the power of good and the power of bad, and it's one. Like you don't just operate with the good or the bad. You know what I mean? Like you can't just select. It's not a menu. This isn't social media and fast food and Amazon. You know what I mean? Like instant. Like you people really like you operate from a mentality of the world in something that does not operate anything like the world. Like, and you can think that it's me and that I'm the one who's doing it, but I'm not the one who's doing it. I am the one who is divinely protected through it. Thank God, you know. But, for the ones who are kind of like freaking out, who are on the outside of it all, who are kind of like, I think, attempting to do, like to do this, just stop for a second, and like deal with your character issues. Like if there are things where you think that like that you think you're going to be able to control, you think you're going to be able to manipulate, you think you're going to maybe try being an honest person. Maybe then you won't be so riddled with so many demons. Maybe just try that instead of trying to be a shady person who then tries to cover it up with magic. Y'all crack me up. Do you understand mockery? Do you understand how that's a mockery? Do you understand how you call in things that are bad? Does that make sense to you? And, to the ones who they're still trying to recruit, do you really want to involve yourself in that? I mean, you can if you want to, but consider yourself warned, I suppose. The Two of Swords, the Knight of Cups, the Ace of Cups, and the Lovers. Well, I just kind of feel like that's not really like my issue, my problem. Like over here, this side of the energy, I feel like there is this sense of action, of celebration, of, like standing in your magic. I think going in the directions that you're meant to go. Yeah. Well, like there has been this, like I said, there was going to be a divide. There was going to be an energetic divide. And if you were on this side, you weren't going to be on this side. You know what I mean? And, some of these people out there who are like, that's not really true. And it's not going to be that bad. And you're all safe. And it's like, I mean, you can believe her if you want to believe her, but she's not in authority to make that call. I mean, fuck, I'm not in the authority to make that call. I just am able to say it and know that it is true. Well, yeah, as an architect of the story, prior to entering into the story, I suppose it was my call in a way, but it wasn't my call alone. Um, because if the point is justice, if the point is to divide the new earth from the old earth, the people who are fighting on behalf of the old earth will stay with the old earth. The people who want to build a bridge, the people who want to act as the bridge, they will be burned because there is no bridge from the old earth to the new earth. And it doesn't matter what your intentions are, because your intentions are in direct conflict with the purpose and the goal. And so if you are in conflict, like the road to hell is paved with good intentions. And if you are trying to bridge the divide when the point is to create the divide, then you will be on the wrong side. And I think that there are people who are on the wrong side. I think that there are people who are trying to instant gratification their way out of that. And I feel like, like if you're trying to do that, like what you're doing is making it worse. If you want to attempt to avoid that fate, fix your fucking character. Yeah, because none of them have changed their character. they want to do everything but, and then blame me for it. It's not me. I'm not the one doing it. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, like as a person who is helping to bring in the new, um, if you are in opposition of me, then you've made an enemy of me, and if you've made an enemy of me, then like you have made an enemy of the ones who protect me, and that is like you wanna get right with them, because you can't clear your cords when you exist in an action that constantly binds you. I wish that you did understand a little better. I'm trying to help you. Queen of Wands again, Seven of Wands, Six of Wands, Hierophant, and Six of Cups. Yeah, I feel like there's action being taken. There's understanding that you've stood in. There's magic that you have called on. Like I feel like for those of us who are celebrating, we are celebrating, like the release that we've experienced from the old world, the release that we are experiencing as we move into the new. Um, and yeah, I mean, like in a lot of ways, that like the justice that takes place, because um, you know trying to build a bridge from the old world to the new world, to like pull old world into the new world, is like building a brand new house and trying to create a tunnel from a rat termite infested home into the brand new one, so that all the rats and the termites can come into the new house. Do you think that that's going to be allowed? um, do you think that that's going to be acceptable? Do you think that's going to be justifiable, or do you think you'll be held accountable for that? I don't understand how it's not really basic to people. It seems really basic to me. It seems like something you could explain to a 3-year old and a 3-year old would get. I don't understand why people want to make it so complicated, but y'all make it complicated because you don't deal with your character. Instead, you have shitty character and then try and utilize magic, calling on, like, I'm really like, I don't want to explain this anymore though. I feel like this is this is the explanation. This is the answer you're looking for. Um, then here it is. But I don't want to keep repeating this. This is my final act of kindness. Yeah, because I mean, like, there is this idea of like really seeing judgment differently, because I just feel like, when people are like, you're judging me unfairly and you're doing this to me and and I'm like, I'm not doing anything to you. You do all of that to yourself. You know what I mean? Like, you have a shitty character. You make shitty decisions. You think that you're going to manipulate, lie, and control. You think that you're going to exist in intentional chaos and confusion and then be able to just wipe it away and clear it out. Like, you're not already knee deep in demons. You think you're going to steal from Peter to give to Paul. I just like, and then escape judgment and think that I'm doing that to you. I'm not. I don't have to do anything. I mean, truly, you do it to yourselves. The Queen of Cups. I mean, and emotional intelligence. I do. I feel like this, like, I'm not upset with you for thinking that, because I understand that you do sincerely lack understanding. And while I'm sure you would love some big explanation on all of the intricacies of it all. Like you are not capable of even grasping the simplest of concepts. While you mock me for offering you the simplest of answers and the simplest of means to remedy your situations, you do it to yourselves. That's the kindest, most loving way I can say it. Oh, shit. A Four of Spades. The eye when near denotes great interest taken by friends when distance signifies suspicion. Yeah, well, I feel like there's like this suspect, and it's like, I mean, fine, you can feel whatever you want to feel, you can think whatever you want to think, but like when it all comes back and gets you, I didn't do it. And I tried to tell you. And that clears me even more, like. Seek the angel perspective. Yeah. I'm like, because I'm not trying to tell you from a place of ego. I'm not trying to tell you from a place of anything. Like that doesn't, none of any of the things that I've said have anything to do with me. Because I could be anybody and you could act that way and it would still do the same thing to you. Well, I guess not entirely true, but when you're dealing with divinity, when you're dealing with destiny, when you're dealing with the divinely protected, and you have such ignorance of the spiritual world truly, okay, an example. Um, well, like coding, right? Like people who know how to code and they know how to go in and they know how to do the back end coding, or, um, what's that one show? iRobot or whatever. And the dude, like, he's a hacker, and people might know how to use the website. They might know how to log in. They might know how to access things. But do they know how to back end it all and go in and rearrange and change and da 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 da? Do they know the coding of it? No. Using the system, does that mean that they're able to really and truly run the system? No. I guess that would be my simplest analogy for you. And the coder would be the angel perspective. Um, in terms of tech, I suppose. But, I hope that helps. Um, no, that doesn't mean we're friends. It just means that, like, you really should try and focus your attention on something a little bit more beneficial to you. Um, and since I seem to be the one who has to be in conversation with a select few about things at this point, I trust that it's with reason, and I do it because it's what I'm called to do. But I've lost all respect for you people. So this isn't an invitation. This is a good riddance. I did what I could do. It's nothing more. It's out of my hands at this point. Okay. Bye.